All right, cool. So you guys know the first question. Can you please introduce yourselves and your roles at SNHU?
I am Andrew Morris, and I oversee partnership operations for our Guild partnership.
I'm Daisy Gillum. I'm the employee relations partner for the northeastern states. It's essentially New England.
And I am Dana McGrath. I am on Daisy Gillum's team. We work on the SNHU Career Services team as employer relations partners. And my focus region is the Mid-Atlantic region.
I am Ashlyn Freed. I am part of the university partnerships team, and I handle partnership operations for a lot of our employer partners.
Well, it's great to meet you all. My first question is for Andrew, actually. Can you tell me briefly about what tuition reimbursement and tuition assistance are?
Tuition reimbursement is a model where students pay for their courses upfront and then submit requests for reimbursement to their employer, whether that be during the term or after the term. And these requests, it's often accompanied by a requirement to either complete the course or earn a specific grade in the course in order to be reimbursed. Tuition assistance, on the other hand, is a model where students are not required to pay upfront, and the employers work directly with schools to manage billing on the student's behalf.
So this question is for both you and Daisy, actually. So is one better than the other?
That is a great question, and I think it is going to depend on the situation that the student is in. I personally find tuition assistance more attractive. It means that it's less upfront out of the student's pocket. I think it indicates more support from the employer. I think it's a better benefit. But again, it could depend on the situation. Perhaps the reimbursement offer is more attractive. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah, I think the only addition I'll make, because I agree with Daisy there, is that the tuition assistance models require maybe a more robust relationship between employers and schools to exchange the information for students. And so that may limit the students' opportunities to pursue the programs of their choice or go to the schools of their choice. So in some cases, reimbursement may be more flexible, but I'm a supporter of the assistance model.
Why is it a good idea to take advantage of these types of benefits?
When I first started my professional career, I guess, I worked with, a headhunter recruiter, and they told me that you really want to find a company that you can invest in that's going to invest in you. So I think that taking advantage of these benefits shows that you are investing in the company. You are a lifelong learner. You are, interested in gaining more skills to help you do your job more efficiently, more effectively. Showing that you're passionate about what you do and taking advantage of tuition assistance or reimbursement, it just shows that, you want to be there for the long term. And then the company sees that and they're like, okay, this is someone that, wants to grow with the company. And then, they reciprocate that. So I think that it's always important to stay on top of what the job market's looking for. So it's really like being able to just kind of flow with the trends and stay on top of it. And I think these types of programs are important just to make sure that you're doing that and it doesn't, it's not out of your own pocket.
Yeah, I fully agree, Dana. It's a great storyteller. I think even if you don't think you need a degree or an additional degree right now in your role, if you have the benefit available and you pursue that degree, you might find that when you're ready to seek out a new job, or by the time you finish that degree program, you realize, this is a big reason why I maybe landed this new role, is because I did get my bachelor's or I did get my master's.
Okay, so this question is now for Ashlyn. In your experience working with employers, how do these types of tuition benefits typically work?
It depends on the company. So some companies want to work directly with SNHU. Some companies have third-party providers that they work with to provide these benefits. It really just depends on what they're looking for and what they are trying to get out of the relationship. So some companies that work directly with us want to offer prior learning experience credit, and we try and tailor it to how does it benefit the employer as well as the student.
How much do most companies pay for tuition reimbursement and similar programs?
So for tuition reimbursement, typically it's that $5,250 a year. They usually pay up to that amount, and then after that amount, the employee is taxed if you use additional.
And is there an IRS rule for tuition reimbursement?
Employers can provide up to the $5,250 a year tax free. And then after that, it is taxable.
So this next question is both for you and Daisy. How can people find out if their employer offers tuition benefits?
Definitely checking like their employee handbook, looking at the company website, or talking to their HR representative.
And Daisy, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think that covered a lot of it. I do think that most places are pretty proud of the fact that they offer tuition assistance or reimbursement. So I think it would also come down to paying attention during onboarding, or maybe you go back later on and you review the total benefits package. I know I'm 15 some years into my career and I still have a hard time thinking about it as total reimbursement. So I make it a point I go back occasionally and I look at what I'm doing and making in addition to my salary. That's something that I make it a point to do every so often. And if it's not offered, I am a huge believer in the fact that closed mouths don't get fed. And it's the sort of thing where if you make a case for it, it benefits you and the employer. So I would say, look into it through HR, your total reimbursements package, and see if you can make it happen if it doesn't exist already.
So, Dana, if tuition reimbursement or tuition assistance are not listed in a benefit package, could that still be a possibility for an employee?
So I love that Daisy just used the open mouths don't get fed, because I grew up with the cliche of the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? So being able to advocate for yourself, the worst they can say is no, right? So if it's not already included, it's not something they're, super transparent about or open about. A lot of for-profit places, even nonprofit organizations, they might have some wiggle room in the budget where, again, it takes a lot more to onboard and train a new employee than it might to retain someone that's already trained up, right? So, just approaching your supervisor or team lead, telling them, hey, I really want to skill up in this area. Is there anything we can do that might allow me to do that? As long as you're letting people know it's something you want to do. Again, the literal worst they can say is no. I mean, they're not going to fire you for wanting to learn more and do better at your job. So I think it's definitely worth the ask for sure.
So you kind of answered this already, but do you have any advice on how someone might approach this conversation with their employer?
Talking to your team lead or supervisor, just casually mentioning, I see this as a skill that's really important. I'm starting to do this in my everyday work. Can I work a little bit more? I'm not as expert as I want to be. Is there something I can, do that would help me get to that point? And then I think, if it's a matter of approaching HR, it's like, look, I really love working for this company. And I think getting this skill or degree or whatever it is will help me to do my job more efficiently, right? Like, I'm helping you by learning more. So why, I just approaching it that way. Instead of being like, hey, I want to get a degree because, it'll benefit me so I can leave this company. Like, being able to integrate it where it's like, this skill will help me do my job better, help the company do better in the long term. And then, I feel like, they might still say no, like you never can guarantee it. But I think it's worth just opening up that conversation casually, talking about why it's important, and then, seeing what it can go from there.
How do employers benefit from offering tuition reimbursement or assistant programs?
I think this is also a question that we've already danced around a little bit as well. And truly, I think that the benefits for the employer are immeasurable. It's a smart economical investment because it means that they're more likely to retain employees. It means that they're more likely to be a choice employer in whatever area if it's known that they're someone who invests in their employees continuously. It also means that they're upskilling their labor force. It is more expensive to hire a new employee and onboard them, even if they're at a higher degree level, versus upskilling someone that you already employ.
And kind of reiterating that it's an investment in the employee. To retain an employee, it's definitely more economical choice than bringing someone brand new in. And also, the employer, they want to find the best talent at the end of the day. And whether that's someone that fits the culture but maybe doesn't have every single bullet on that job description, they can train you. Like, I just talked to an employer that was like, it's easier for me to teach a business student technical skills than it is for me to take a technical person and teach them soft skills like communication and teamwork and stuff. So, those are the kind of skills that, if you have this perfect fit with the culture and you show that in your interview and you show you're passionate about what the company does, what you would do in that role, I mean, it would be foolish for them to not, want to invest in employees that are there for the long term. So I think employers benefit because it helps them to find the people that they're going to be there for longer than just a year. It's just a stepping stone. Like these people, um, they have the potential rather than, checking every single box right off the bat. So, I think having Daisy mentioned the total rewards package, right? So that's like your salary, your health benefits, your tuition benefits, right? So this is all part of that total rewards package that, at the end of the day, I might make a certain paycheck every 2 weeks, but my total rewards at the end of the year is substantially more than that because of what this employer is offering me. So when someone's kind of negotiating with an employer, like look at that total package because it's not always going to be that paycheck. Do what you need to do for your own needs, but make sure you're considering everything around what the employer is offering you, because the ones that have those full, robust total rewards packages, in my opinion, you're going to be much better off in the long run. That's why I'm happy at SNHU, right? So absolutely. But I think, yeah, Daisy really hit it on the head too with just the aspect of the investment too.
So the final question is for everyone. What else do you think people should know, or what else about this topic would you like to share? And the floor is open.
I'll throw out really quick that you should never leave money on the table. If it's there and it's offered, see if you can take advantage of it.
We know that many of us need to borrow in order to fund our education. And we know that student loan debt is a big issue in our economy, in our society as a whole. And so this is one tool that is available to students to fund most or all of their education. And whether you're graduating from high school or you're in your 30s or 40s pursuing your bachelor's or graduate degree, find an employer that covers some of your tuition.
I 100% agree with, all the added things. And also, it's something that our career advisors talk about on the career services team. And we mentioned with employers, it's like, when you're focusing 100% on school, that's great. I had the privilege to be able to do that right after high school, but some people, they need to work full time and balance school. That's why SNHU is so great. So it's like you have that flexibility. But at the same time, if you're actively learning, you're having conversations with people outside of just your workforce. So it's like you're kind of in this, you have this whole community of like think tank people, because higher education, it's like those are the people that want to learn. They want to gain those industry skills. So you're just keeping yourself relevant, not taking yourself out of the workforce just to focus on school if you're able to. I know it's a big lift. I started at SNHU in admission, and it was like, if there's a will, there's a way. You really have to manage your time. But I think, while you're earning your degree, you're also gaining experience when you're working, and your employer's paying for it. So it's like, these are all good things. I don't like, there's, besides the fact that it's like a lot of time and energy, I think, there really is nothing but benefit at the end of the day with tuition assistance and like making sure your skills are relevant in the current workforce.
And to add on that, I think it's important to like educate students to be like strategic, like they're working full time as well as going back to school, but being strategic with that benefit. So you get $52.50 a year. Like, okay, if you're trying to earn your bachelor's, like this is what you should do if you don't want to take out loans, and take one course a term and then maybe take a term off, and whatever you need to do to not put that extra financial burden on yourself. But I think that is beneficial. And then as well as just making those students aware of additional resources, whether it's a discount that the employer offers, or if we don't have a partnership with that organization, encouraging that organization to inquire about becoming a partner.